Esteban, my boy, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
My brother, he is here. Yes, hear you loud and clear. Sorry it took so long, man. Trying to do the OBS thing so we get some pictures for the people, but I'll have to stick it up for another day. For now, we know what Yuyuhakusho looks like. So if y'all don't know what I'm doing tonight, I'm doing the Yuyuhakusho review on this. If y'all don't know what Yuyuhakusho is, it's a great classic anime, an amazing anime. It's in my top 5. I don't care nobody say. Love me some Yu Yu Hakusho. So we're gonna do the review tonight with my boy Esteban Rodriguez here. Welcome him. And
What's going on, everybody?
hey man, it's about to be wild. So we got four amazing arcs to talk about. So we're gonna get down with the nitty gritty and we'll get straight to it. So we're gonna rate each arc of the 4 arcs of Yu Yu, talk about the highs, the lows, great fights, great moments, funny moments, all that good stuff, and we're gonna give y'all a good review. So hope y'all enjoy, and we'll get started. So Esteban, I'll get off for the Spirit Detective arc. What'd you think of the first arc?
The first arc definitely kept things interesting. I actually recently, somewhat recently, before COVID happened, I was actually rewatching this with some friends of mine who got into anime way later, and so they actually missed this whole that like early 2000s, like adults, like when Adult Swim was anime.
Yep.
And the thing that I loved about that first arc is that the pacing is really good. A lot of times with a lot of anime, it can be slow, like it's a slow grind, but it was really good. At no point in time did it ever feel like it was staying at one point for too long. That's probably one of my favorite things about it.
Yeah. Yu didn't stay, and it kept the first few episodes it was like slow, building up the plot for the rest of the story. But once it took off, it definitely took off. It definitely took off. I try to get my wife to watch it. I have to get her to watch it after Yusuke dies and comes back. I told him like he dies and comes back. I'm like, I'm not watching that part. I was like, all right, I'll just get you when the action come in, because she likes the fights and all that. She likes the fighting and the stuff in anime. So I told her, I was like, all right, I'll do the good stuff when it comes back in.
But so then she started watching it, I'm assuming, like during the Genkai tournament
thing? Nope, I ain't got it yet. I told her I'm gonna skip it. I'm like, here you go, because I watched Yu Yu Hakusho so many times. I'm like, here you go. No, I'm gonna get her started probably when he has his first case. I might even get her started there.
Oh yeah.
She gonna watch how Yusuke struggled.
Oh yeah. I think that's another really nice part about it too, is just the fact that he struggled. He was not ready for that first one.
That's what I was gonna say. This is a shonen where some of the characters, you use some Shonen Jump characters where they're overpowered and they're just OP from jump. Yusuke started on the struggle bus. Like he didn't the one day spirit gun was amazing.
Ooh. And then he used on the teacher.
Yo, he was already pissed because Evil Momo pissed him off. He was like, yeah, I'll show you. And then when he fights Goki, that was funny. He was like, oh
yeah.
And he had to think outside the box. So that was funny too.
It showed that he was creative. He wasn't just a dummy. He was like a streetwise kid.
No, yeah, Yusuke had the street smarts. So he had to think outside the box to beat a demon that he was not ready for. And it was messed up because he's the only spirit detective. That's the messed up part. He's the only spirit detective on Earth. So when Koema sends him, and Botan was like, "You sent my prospect." Bowen was like, "Yeah, he's the only one who actually can do it." That was funny. And yeah, he wasn't ready for the first fight. The first
man, you know that they have staffing problems. He was not ready for
man.
Oh no,
man,
definitely was
Spirit
not.
World was
not ready.
Like, he was like, yo, you got to go fight these demons and get these artifacts back before my dad kills me. And it's dope because we get introduced to Kurama and Hiei, which will be playing a bigger part in the story as good supporting. I call them main characters too. The whole team Urameshi is main characters. They're not really side. They're the whole team. The whole team is main characters. And my favorite character, Kurama. Kurama's my favorite character. I love Team Urameshi as a whole, period. But Kurama, don't know what it is about. Maybe it's the Shikamaru smart thing. He's one of them. He's one of the protagonists who he's smart. He's witty. He's a demon.
Yeah,
But
man.
that they. I'll go ahead.
I was about to say I definitely cheated one time. I was telling I made some friends come up with like their top 5 anime characters, just period. And when I got to my number 1, I said Yusuke / Kuwabara / Kurama / Hiei, like as one.
Yo,
Because the 4 of them together is like way better than any of them apart.
No, yeah. Even when we get to chapter Black, we kind of see that. Like all of them together, sure. I love all 4 of them. Like even and then then we got the hiding characters. We got Genkai and Botan and Koenma and Shizuru and Keiko. Like
the whole thing I always like too is like, especially like before we start going crazy to the future arcs, but in that first mission, the fact that like Kurama was the only one he didn't actually have to fight because Kurama wasn't wanting to fight. But other than that, though, the biggest thing about it was just that both of the fights he barely did it by just like dumb luck. And that was just a really cool thing that I thought was really good. Hey, are you there? I think stepped off for a second. Oh well. But yeah, going back kind of that review, to keep going further, it was just another one of those things that it was also nice that there wasn't like too much time in between after he did the after that mission on to the next ones. It just there was never really like a too much time that you had to worry too much about that. I always thought that was good too. After that, dealing with like them, then with the Saint Beast was shortly after, and that was just a really good section as well. Hold on 1 second, just trying to figure some stuff out here real quick. All right. But yeah, let's see. So like right after dealing with the with that first getting those artifacts back, then dealing with the Saint Beast shortly after. That wasn't next. It was Genkai tournament was next. And then just again, everything, just the flow of everything was just really good.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, now I can hear you. Are you good? You good?
Yeah, that's my fault. I gotta probably have the video camera on for when I'm actually on live. Okay. Make sure I can hear. Still good? I'm still good?
Yep, you're still good.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. But yeah, the character development for Kuwabara was nice too.
Oh, definitely.
Mad character development. Just getting used to his power and everything. And as the tournament came on, the Yusuke fights his first real big villain, which was dope too.
Oh yeah,
and he was definitely outclassed by Rando. When it was dope to to finally figure out the reveal of who he was, and was like, yeah, that's the demon. And then when they don't think it's him, he finally reveals himself. That was a good twist. Good twist.
Man, I know for a fact that anybody I've ever shown that to for the first time, they never guessed the right person.
Yeah, they was like, oh, it's gonna be the ninja. No, it's gonna be the martial artist. No, it's gonna be the assassin. It definitely wasn't the monk. What, the dude Chin Po, who he knocks off in the first round? And he smoked him. I said, damn, bro. I was like, it was awfully odd. You didn't think nothing of it. It's just a kid. And
Yep.
he off. And then when Yusuke finally rocks him because he beats the hell out of Kuwabara, he finally reveals his true form.
Yep. Oh
So,
man,
and then we get
that
the
was
gang
crazy.
training after that. When
Oh
Yusuke
right.
gets trained, that's what I like too. So we got to see more character development. So Yusuke got the power-ups when he came back, even all the crap he had to go through to do it. But
Oh, for sure.
I will say,
Um,
oh, go ahead, man.
About to say one of the things I loved about that too was just at the end of that arc when he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna go to what was it, a monster truck rally or was it a wrestling?"
He was going to a martial arts tournament that he had tickets that Botan gave him tickets for to bribe him to go to the tournament from jump.
Right, and then he couldn't even go.
He was like, "You ain't going nowhere." He didn't go. He was like, "What?" He's like, "You gay guy will hit him with all that bullshit, and you thought you was
Yep.
about to leave? Nah, bro, you about to train for like was it like 6 months? He had to train or 3 or
Yep.
something.
It was like 6 months.
But he came back strong because
Mhm.
the Saint Beast. That's when the Saint Beast, like out of the first one, was my favorite because the stakes were high. Yusuke came
For sure.
back with power ups we couldn't believe. The train was enough, but it wasn't enough. And then we get to see Kurama and Hiei pretty much join the team from there on
Right.
in.
And then we get to deal with the
And
brotherly bickering between Kuwabara and Hiei for till the end of time.
when they first met up, yeah, when the fighting from all the way there to to the end, it was funny. Yeah,
Yep.
and then we get to see Kurama and Hiei actually deliver the smoke to both the
Hmm.
Saint Beasts. Like when I first seen Kurama fight and I saw his weapon, I was like, I don't know what it is because character I mostly like from anime so far, if they use a rose, they're gonna ask me why. Using a rose as a weapon, Kurama, when I first seen him use the rose whip, I said, "Oh, that's dope as hell. He's using a rose whip. That shit was
Hmm.
dope."
Yep.
And then we see
And
Kurabara. Kurabara's fight was funny. Kurabara is the comic relief. Everybody
oh,
has the
for sure.
serious moments. Kurabara has the funny. Hiei has the serious moments. Yusuke has the funny and serious and comedic moments. Kurama has the laid back, calm, but I'll still smoke your ass moments. So
For
everybody
sure.
has brings something to the table.
Oh no, definitely. And the other thing about it too was just it still went on this line that like obviously it's a shonen anime, so of course unless it's gonna end, the main character is gonna have some kind of bullshit come out, right? But either
Always.
way, that yeah, it didn't matter. The nice thing about it was that at no point in time was it something that he it wasn't out of the reach, but it was always something he struggled for. When he faced
Yeah.
against what was his name? That last one? Um
Um. Oh, Suzaku.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
When
we
he
didn't
faced
talk
against
Suzaku.
Suzaku, that was like one thing I will say that I did also find hilarious was like Kuwabara struggled. He was a human, he did struggle.
Oh yeah, he definitely struggled.
Kurama got injured, but otherwise did fine. But Hiei just wrecked that dude.
Oh yeah, he ain't messed up Siriu. Like, and he bragged all that shit, and I'm like, you got. I'm thinking, all of them because mostly only a person had 2-part episodes with Hyusuke and Kuwabara. Kurama had one episode. He beat Genbu,
Yep.
and then Kuwabara fought twice, and then he beat then Siriu. Yeah, he in his fights, he really gets beat up. Like, and that was the first time we got to see him use a sword. He was already
Hmm.
shitty because Siriu killed Byakuo, so that's the best of Hiei's code of honor. And then
Yep.
he smokes the hell out of him.
Oh yeah, it's done. Like it was like again, nobody even saw it. Like nobody was, and this was another thing too. Like nobody was fast enough to actually count the cuts. Nobody was.
16
Everybody
slashes.
was.
He
Yep.
cut him, and he said it casual. He said he
Yep.
was like, how many times? No, Kurama asked, how many times you cut him here? And he said it just all natural, about 16 times.
Yeah,
Bro,
I think
what?
even like Karama
You cut
like said he didn't even get into double digits. He thought it was like 9 or something, and everyone else thought it was like a couple.
no, Kuwabara said I didn't even catch the he said I couldn't even catch the flash. Kurama said I saw the flash.
Yep.
Hold up, bro. Hold on, people. Hold on. Bang. Never mind. I'm tripping. Sorry about that, guys. Something happened outside the window. Yeah. And then when we get to Hyusuke's fight, we get to see the Genkai fight did pay off. Literally did pay off, but Hyusuke struggled. That was like a 3-episode fight.
It was like 3 or 4.
That was like 3 or 4 episodes. Yeah, I think it was 3. And Hyusuke, I mean, he's still a human at the end of the day, but he still struggled.
Man, also, can we talk about how bullshit that fight was? How do you multiply yourself and then put yourself back together and be perfectly fine to multiply yourself again to be perfectly fine? That fight was bullshit.
Oh yeah, he healed himself like 2 times. First, because he was giving Hyusuke problems after a while when he started getting shitty about killing Keiko. And he sent the demon. He sent those zombies after Keiko. So Hyusuke ain't playing that. Hyusuke turned up. He almost had the whistle because he had to get the whistle to end all this, and gets bopped, and then comes back, and he was like, to him. Then I'm like, yeah, damn. He did like 2 attacks and he injured Hyusuke, and then he couldn't get up for a minute. I'm like, god damn. But understandable, like that fight was definitely some BS. But Hyusuke still beat him twice. He beat 14 Suzakus, and 7 + 7 + 14. He beat 14 Suzakus twice.
Yep.
All at the same time. So that was a good arc because that was definitely a good little season for that because Keiko, there was a lot at stake. That was definitely a lot at stake. He had Keiko back at home. He had to hurry up and stop Suzaku before he flooded Demon World and flooded the human world and all this whatnot. So, and then that was like I said, we could lead up to the 2 big villains for next upcoming arc. We got introduced to the Toguro brothers.
Man, what do you think of that one? So that was a weird one for me because I didn't get it at first when I was first ever watched this. Actually, when I first watched this series, I actually missed those episodes. So when I first ever watched it, I went from that to the Dark Tournament. But then obviously I watched it like multiple times since then. But it was one of those crazy things, man, that it was crazy because one, that was when you also realized that like Kuwabara's family was spiritually entwined with everything.
Yeah.
And then Kuwabara, dude, doesn't know how to not simp. So he obviously follows along.
Man, Kuwabara, when he wasn't even going to go because he's like, I'm not going with you on this mission. I'm not going with you. And then as soon as he sees the tape, I like the comic. He's the comic relief because he's like, I think I'm in love. And I love his accent. Come on, Meshi. Let's go send those bad guys to the moon. He was like,
man,
bruh.
Kuwabara is by far the definition of a simp.
Man.
He was a simp before simping was like ever a thing.
Kuwabara was wild because he wasn't even about that life. He said, I'm not going. And then he saw Yukina pop up. He was gone. And then Shizuru was like, where's he going? He's like, don't worry. He'll figure it out.
That was hilarious.
And then they get go ahead.
The other thing I thought was actually also interesting, and when you knew that like things started changing, was like the entire time, all the way up to the main 2 bad guys for a while now, for like the next like 2.5 arcs nearly. I guess arc and a half. But the craziest part was they wiped the floor with everybody.
I mean, you can tell after Hyusuke came back stronger after the Saint Beast because they swept the floor. Like the first dude got wrecked, and then Toguro was like, he was like, oh dang, my boy, one of my men got killed, like dumb quick.
And that's also how you know that he's like a good actor. and we'll get to that a little bit later.
Oh, man. Smoke the triad.
Mm-hmm.
They
didn't even show the third fight.
Man,
they barely showed the third fight.
Man, I like the first fight. The first, because it's Yuyuhakusho's got that lewd humor. The whole transvestite thing, and Yusuke fights her. I like. He says, "Well, Kurobar was like, we can't fit girls." He's like, "I don't care who she is." He said Yusuke had the best one-liners.
Equal opportunity ass kicker.
Oh no, he's like
Yusuke by far.
The best one-liners, like out of all the shonen characters, I'd say he's not like your typical, I got powers, gotta save the world.
His one-liners are like the equivalent of Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liners, but in anime.
Man,
those he has amazing one-liners throughout the whole thing.
Yusuke jokes, like when they first got to the forest, he was like, "Place smells like ass," or before when they saw Ganzu Tarukane, the boss that held Yukina.
Oh yeah,
like Kurobar was like, "He's too ugly to be human. He's too ugly to be anything." just humor every time.
Oh,
every time.
One thing I will definitely say though was like, oh yeah, and after they smoked the triads and they actually got to fight the Toguro brothers. The one thing I will say was like, I did not like the Toguro brothers up until actually going into the Dark Tournament because they seemed so plain.
Yeah, Toguro.
They were plain sounding until after they took the fall.
Look, until like we didn't, we found out that later, and like, oh, this is bad. Like that got me too because I bought a DVD. I didn't bought like some random, it came out in volumes, and I bought it when the Dark Tournament started, and I seen that part, and no, I didn't even really see that part. I got to see with the aftermath that it was all a bet for Sakio was a dope villain too.
Oh, he was the best. He was the best.
Yeah, Sakio definitely dope villain. To find out that the whole battle was staged just to win a bet, and Toguro wasn't even fighting at his strongest, but they were still getting smoked by the brothers regardless.
Oh yeah,
taking it easy.
They got lucky. They got lucky with people holding back. But not only that, not only was it a bet, he didn't even care about actually winning. He just knew he was going to lose that money.
Yeah, he was going to lose the money anyway. Because Tarukane was trying to really just trying to undermine everything.
Yep. And then he gets his head kicked off.
Man, I thought, your man just got his head lopped off for real.
Man, that was definitely some Enter the Dragon flying sidekick through the window. Or better yet, the Tekken, I think it was Tekken 2 ending. Was it Tekken 2 or Tekken 3? The one with no, it wasn't 3. But it was one when like Law tried to have the restaurant and then like he kicked the dude through the window.
Yep, that was 3. That was 3. That was 4. That was Forest Law. That was Forest Law.
Oh, you're right.
Yep. I knew what you're talking about.
That's right. But yeah, that's what that reminded me of. And I was just like, what? That was sick.
And then we get to this is the best arc to me. Oh, so far. So let's let's go
ahead. So that definitely wraps up the Spirit Detective arc, which has so much in it because it has the first mission, then it has the Genkai tournament, then not even just the first mission. First, the fact that he's dead. Then it has then it has the first mission, then it has the Genkai tournament, then it has the Saint Beast, and then it has rescuing Yukina. All to make sure that Hiei doesn't kill somebody.
Whoa, he gave Tarukane the work.
Yep. Man, if it wasn't for Yukina, he would have been dead.
Whoa, he was smacking Tarukane. I like how Karate said I should go. He's like, yeah, because if you kill somebody, you're going to be responsible too. Oh.
Yeah, he didn't even think that was going to be a thing, but oh well.
He was like,
but yeah, so I would say
he's not going to kill nobody. Yusuke.
I will definitely say that if it didn't end the way it did, which I would say to me that arc ended when you find out that the brothers were actually still alive. Which, actually, the more you think about that, everyone should have realized they were alive because one brother was the sword that never got damaged.
Yeah, it was Elder Tagoro. Elder Tagoro
never got hit. The only one who took the hit was young Tagoro.
And it still didn't hurt him. Like, I didn't even really think about that. I was like, oh, damn.
By all rights, old Tagoro could have just popped out and been like, oh, you have to fight me now. So that should have been like, I never even realized that until like the third time I watched the whole series, thinking to myself, man, we all got played and no one ever noticed this small detail here.
Yeah. Like, I didn't even think about that. They showed it. I was like, oh. And then I like the Yukina Hiei thing. And her being the brother. Like, because when he gave Hyusuke the tape at the beginning of that, he was like, no, I think they kept him busy just to let he know that, like, keep him out the way so he doesn't go and do what he did. But that was dope.
He still did, but luckily Yukina stopped him. So
true. This was true.
But yeah, if I had to rate this arc from like a score out of 10, I would say that the arc was a solid 8 out of 10. It had really good character development all the way through. It had the pacing was good. Like, sure, the very first part could be seen as slow, but even then, it didn't take that long. What, maybe like 4 or 5 episodes max?
It was like 4 or 5 episodes before the actual cases and the fighting and the action actually started.
Right, and even then, that's like time for you to learn about Yusuke. That's time for you to learn about like all the characters in his life. Well, not even just that, but all the characters in his life. And it got just what with like that importance there, and showed like what he's willing to do to protect people he cares about. Because we didn't talk about it at all, but there was still that part where he threw away his chance for resurrection just to make sure that Bei lived. So,
through that
like we didn't talk about that because we kind of skipped past that, but that was definitely super important. Obviously, with so much happening, it makes you wonder what's really important. Nothing was really like important overall until obviously the end, when the Tagoro brothers were alive. But I say it was an 8 out of 10.
No, I'll give it 8 out of 10. Like I said, it had the character build up. We got to see Hyusuke, get better as a spirit detective as the season went on, leading up to the Dark Tournament, which was one of the best art. I love tournament arcs. Like, I'm gonna start that. I love Dark Tournament. I didn't watch the whole thing of Yu until I got to college, because I don't know what it was. I think it came on Toonami, and that's what I didn't really have access to anime like that. But when I watched whole tournament,
to be fair, I can tell you for a fact that I don't think they aired the last arc. I don't know when that was ever aired on like TV, when it was on like Cartoon Network, either during the day or during night. I don't think that even ever aired, so I don't blame you for that one. I was the same way.
They never aired. No, they didn't air the Three Kings. No, they did not. Because I remember they advertised the mess out of Chapter Black, but they did not air it. So when
Chapter Black is my favorite one, but we'll get to that when we get there.
Oh yeah. Now there is a reason why I definitely like Chapter Black. I didn't like it at first, but I kept watching it. But the Dark Tournament, I love my tournament arcs in any anime. You get to see character development. You get to see other characters join you get to see techniques, especially with martial arts and fighting. You get to see new techniques.
Oh yeah.
And pretty much the stakes were high. So as we lead into the Spirit Detective Saga from the Spirit Detective Saga to the Dark Tournament, we learned that Tagoro wanted to fight. It was dope because we get to see him again, and he was like, I didn't give you a true fight. So now you get your second chance, but it wasn't no option. He had to come.
Well, not only that, the crazy part about it was like from the second that he saw Tagoro until he actually powered up and leveled that parking garage, Yusuke was scared the entire time.
Oh no, he was definitely scared.
He knew. He was just like, there's no way I'm about to live through this. Which is another crazy thing with Yusuke that I've always liked about Yusuke. Like let's talk about some like other very popular like characters in general of anime around that time. You know, you got, you know, Spike from Cowboy Bebop, you got Goku from Dragon Ball, you got, and the other one I would say, even though it's not really a shonen, same with Cowboy Bebop, but Inuyasha. In terms of those three, none of them ever had a moment where like you actually saw like fear and where it was actually like shown. Goku was like never scared of any fight. Yeah. Vulnerability was not a thing. Right. They were always ready to fight. If they are vulnerable because they're like human, quote unquote human. They can get hurt. They can die. But Yusuke had vulnerable moments. And this was one of them. Like he was scared.
Oh yeah. And that's what Tagura wanted. He said, basically, just get stronger, bro. And when he told him, he said, I only used 20% of my strength when I fought you in Kuwabara. Bro, what? So when he got bigger, I'm like, Jesus Christ. This is 80. We're not even 100 until the end of the Dark Tournament. And that's when he put the fear in Yusuke. He said, all right, bro, you got some months to train. Get ready for the tournament. This is not an option. If you don't come, I'm offing everybody that you love. That's it.
And then
that invitation, I was like, well, I remember that line. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Then not only that, but then when like Kurama and Hiei were just chilling on the next building over, and he goes, "Oh, by the way, that's you too, motherfuckers." It's like, whoa! Like he was ready.
You know, and then he and Kurama was like, siding with humans. He was like, Kurama was like, sympathy hasn't been in a part of those fights, so it don't matter. We already know what we're getting into. But they had to. Now, when he said the fifth member, okay, now I knew this. I watched this episode back when I was in high school. Esteban, how the fuck nobody didn't know that was Genkai?
I know, right?
If really did Genkai,
man.
Come on, that outfit. I'm like, remember when I saw it, I'm like, okay, that's Genkai. That's really. I'm like, oh, you got Genkai. How did you get Genkai? Not know that was Genkai. Like I wouldn't even how she came up to Yusuke. You need a fifth member for this tournament. Yeah, like I don't even know how that transpired because they never showed how Yusuke found her. It was like, yeah, we need a fifth member. You want to join us in this tournament full of demons? Sure.
Right.
You look familiar. Like I knew that was Genkai from Jump, and they didn't have to say nothing. Sure. That giveaway. But we got the fifth members. The stakes are dumb high. So pretty much if he declined him there, he would have got killed. So if he gets in the tournament, he gets killed if he doesn't get strong enough. The training, the preparation was dope. The going to the tournament, you already knew that when they did the battle royale and they smoked everybody on the boat. Come on, man.
My favorite part in general about the whole arc is that you get to see like everybody's true colors. Because I still remember when the masked fighter quotes the masked fighter. Sorry, but when the masked fighter goes up and Kuwabara's like, what if this dude loses? Like, we can't let this guy be the guy to go. We don't even know if he's strong, blah, blah, blah. And Hiei's just, well, then we just kill everybody on board. And when we're the last ones, no one will be alive to dispute it.
Kuwabara, I remember that plain as day. You didn't have too many friends growing up, did you? All the faith was put in the masked fighter. Like, nobody didn't know that was Genkai. I know Koenma knew. But nobody else really. I think Koenma didn't even know. Like, how I didn't know that was high? Like, come on, man.
Also, let's be for real. At this point, we know Yusuke is a dummy. Like, this is just proof that he's stupid. Because how did, like you said, how did he not realize this?
Like, you know, your master? Come on, man.
Bro, like, what did he do? Did he get a week to go home or something? And then, like, this masked fighter shows up? Like, what happened?
Well, I forgot they revealed it too, that they came to Genkai as we reveal something a little bit later. We'll talk about some of the fights first before we reveal how she got fighted from Jump. So the first fight, they start with the first fight. First, they get harassed by their first opponents after they get off the boat.
Man.
Basically, Yusuke sleep after training with Genkai. So we got Kuwabara, Hiei, Masked Fighter, and Kurama.
Mm-hmm.
Kuwabara, man, I'm so disappointed in Kuwabara like through the whole tournament because he was damn near comic relief because all the matches he won one.
He won the one that mattered, though. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah. And technically, he damn near didn't win that, but it be because the fighter he was fighting. But Kurama, Kurama and Hiei, out of the whole game, Kurama, Hiei, Hyusuke, mass fighter.
Oh yeah,
that was the team because after Kurama smacks,
he actually wins too. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's 2 fights he wins, and we'll get to those in a little bit. Okay, so this is actually my primary reason why this is not my favorite arc. This is the arc I always feel like, because unlike the last arc, the stakes were high multiple times with every single thing that he did. And there were so many in that arc, and that's why I think that's my second favorite arc. But there's so many things that he did, but every single mission he had some high stakes. There was obviously he needed to live, so he got his body back. Then, Koenma's dad destroying the earth, getting those items back, and then also spanking him, which he got spanked anyways. But then,
true,
making sure that Rando doesn't learn Genkai secrets, and then the world getting swallowed up, and then all that stuff, right? But in this one, there's so much that people always tend to slightly forget about here and there, because only one thing really matters, and it's the very end of the arc. You know what I mean?
True.
This is why, as I love the arc, because I think this is like top 3 tournament arcs, in my personal opinion, of all of anime. But that's the reason why that I think this is why it's not. Like, if I rank them, we'll definitely do like a rank, like how I rank all 4 of them with each other. But this would be number 3. But first fight though, Kuwabara losing this first fight, all BS. He should have won that one. He got teased out. This was, man, time is running out, and I just got to throw a fireball and chip him to death. That is literally what happened to this dude when he got wrapped up by these stupid yo-yos.
Man, cool. You starting the tournament out wrong. So he definitely should have won that fight. Next fight, my boy. Kurama rocks. Boy. He rocked. I like the fact that he said, this is a joke of a round. He told Kuwabara, he said, you could have fought him while Kurama dealt with the child in his yo-yo. And then he pulled the remote out and thought he gets Kurama. And then planted the death plant. And he did it so casual. And then I love Kurama because he's so subtle. When the seed was getting planted in his body, you believe in mercy, don't you? No. And the seed killed me.
Oh, yep.
But man, Hiei's fight was the turn-up fight.
That fight was the craziest one because in reality, except for Chu, who shows up, he wasn't even part of the team. He was the backup.
The substitute.
Yeah, he was the substitute via rock, paper, scissors. But that was the fight where it was like, in reality, that was the one that was, no matter who fought him, they could have actually died. Because he was actually strong. Like, he was actually really strong. Now, of course, he talked a little smack. He talked a little smack, like, yeah, your work is really, like, your work isn't good. There were melted edges on that cup. Like, you're not the master you think you are.
The tension was real, because when he harassed him the night before and he said that, and they got pissed, and he throws the flames out again, and he didn't flinch.
Yep. And then, at that moment, he uses the one thing that he probably was not wanting to even remotely use until having to deal with the Girl Brothers team.
Man.
He used it right then and there. And it crippled him.
God.
It crippled him for, I think, 3 fights, didn't it?
It crippled him until Team Yuyuhakusho. And that's like the 4th of the semifinal round. That's how long it crippled him.
Yep.
Like, the Dragon of the Darkness flame, when it first got introduced, I said, yo, what? He didn't use his sword, you notice? He didn't use his sword until, like, the 4th fight, and he still didn't really use it after that. Like, He didn't use the sword. And when he used the Dragon of the Darkness Flame to wipe out Zero, the whole team was damn near trash because they got scared. And he said that's all left of him. He said, "Oh, that chalk outline." Oh, he's like, "Oh, he's not coming back."
I love that. He goes, "Hey, ref, you should get to counting." And she's like, "No."
He's like, "Yeah, he's not." He's like, "Oh, yeah, he's not coming back." He said, "That's his chalk outline." Yo, and then we get the substitute. Chu was fun. Chu was dope.
The craziest part was just the fact that he killed the two homeboys as they were trying to run away.
Yo, trash! Like, and this is
killed him. Killed him
with no regard.
And then Yusuke finally wakes up.
Yo, he woke up because of the booze. Everything else that didn't wake him up, that should have woke him up, the booze.
He probably thought it was his mom.
Yo, she's always doing. He said it smells like home. Like, I like how he got serious after Yusuke told him he's up there getting drunk. He beat somebody up in the thing for calling him a drunkie. And then when Yusuke told him, "I'm out here to babysit a drunk," when Chu turned up for real, I said, "Oh, fight's about to get serious."
Was so sick. It also has the best, period, the best fight of all time with a knife edge death match.
Oh no, that was the best climactic fight besides the Tagura brothers fight. That was definitely the climactic. That was the climactic moment. Definitely the most.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Did you ever read the manga at all?
No, I didn't actually read the YOOO manga. Now I think about it.
Okay. So there are like a lot of differences, but the one thing I loved about this arc, I remember reading this in Shonen Jump, and this actually Shonen Jump was the reason I wanted to start watching it as an anime, because I actually read it in Shonen Jump first. But was that fight because they had that final headbutt, and it actually shows like that one. You like look it up, like at some point look it up, but it shows like the manga panel of like Yusuke winning that and him falling over, and just like in the anime, the dude's head cracks the cement.
Oh no!
But that was by far one of the best things, man.
No, yeah, and it definitely showed that the Yusuke Team Urameshi ain't no punks.
Nope.
And like when he told the whole crowd to shut up, and they got quiet, and then he flicks off to so we got introduced. We got introduced to another Team Taguro member. We got introduced to Karasu.
Yep.
We got introduced to Karasu because the whole team wasn't even there yet. We had Bowie, who was the last person to show up. And he didn't even really, they didn't give him like a fancy introduction because we got to see a little bit of Karasu, of what his power consists of. And this nigga's just blown up pretty much a little bit. Niggas just blowing up. I'm like, oh, okay.
That was cool though. I thought he was he was definitely, like other than obviously younger Taguro, he was definitely one of my favorite. He was definitely like number 2 favorite of that team. He was sick.
Oh yeah. Karasu was dope. Karasu was dope. So we go into the next fight. The stakes are still just as high. So this is when Yusuke lost his powers for that little amount of time when he definitely needed them.
Yep.
And Hiei's withering in pain. And then, because the man didn't fight in the first match. So we get introduced to the human, a human team. The Dr. Ichigaki. That was dope.
That was a sick fight. Because it was Yusuke who was not able to use his powers, Kuwabara, and the Masked Fighter.
Yep, against the three other human members of Team Ichigaki, and then the other two where Hiei and Karama were trapped out there with who they smoked with no problem, and then smacked the robot with no issue. But we got to see that fight was a little tense fight slightly. Like Yusuke couldn't do nothing. Hey, Masked Fighter was going ham, protecting Yusuke and Kuwabara. Kuwabara can use powers, but they were just being overwhelmed the whole fight.
Well, it wasn't even just that, but the other thing too with Kuwabara also being able to like being the empath that he is and actually getting like the visions of what happened with those three was
Yeah,
also like stopping him, his code of honor. Which actually, the more you think about it, it's actually kind of a good thing that they weren't the ones dealing with the people outside, because Hiei would have just pieced all of them.
oh yeah, no, Kurama probably would have, tried to, if Kurama told Kurama that, he was like, oh yeah, we gotta stop. He is like, we gotta kill these cats. I'm like, I'm not beating nobody. I'm like, they trying to kill us. Somebody
Right.
heads lopped off. They fought the ones that looked like a jaguar. They looked like cats, and then they chopped up the one and then beat the hell out of the other one. So we find out pretty much Ichigaki was manipulated the team to get into. He didn't even care about winning. He just wanted to science experiment. And then when he told them that, and when Hyusuke and Kurobara tried to go after him, they get bopped by the human team again. And then when Hyusuke finally gets his powers back, he turned all the way up.
Mm-hmm. I'm so glad. Like, of all the people, like, he was the equivalent of like that one dude that fused his daughter and the dog in Full Metal Alchemist. Dachi Ichigaki was like the equivalent of that, man. Because that was the dude where it was just like, forget this guy. This guy sucks.
Oh yeah, we throw him. We're not even beat. We don't even care about the other three. We about to kill you. Then he turns into the big and then the masked fighter heals them after the end of the match, and then Dr. Ichigaki turns into this big ass ogre. That fight wasn't as bad. That fight wasn't as bad because Hyusuke turned and smacked Dr. Ichigaki at the end of it all. And ends up winning. So Hyusuke still hyped from the next match because the bracket they was really trying to screw over Team Urameshi because they had two matches back to back.
Well, not just that, but also the fact that like they even talk about how that happens every year. They always try to screw over the human team because they talk about like that's something that they always do, and that's what happened to Genkai and Toguro when they fought in the tournament many years back. Same exact thing.
But Team Messi's them underdogs. This was my favorite fight. Team Masho. Oh, go ahead. Recap. Go ahead. Do you think?
So yeah, I was actually just about to get to this. So no, you go ahead because then we'll go from there because you actually started getting to where I was about to get to.
Team Masho was my favorite. That was definitely the high stakes fight because everybody on Team Urameshi damn near got screwed over. Everybody. Like the scheming was real with the crime lord for that team, for Team Masho. So we get to the match. Hiei still injured, but he'll still fight. Hiei always wants to smoke, so he don't care. He still got an arm. Kurama's not injured. Kurobara's injured. Hyusuke is ready to fight.
He's beyond him, dude. He's like broken.
He got wrecked.
And then
so we see
fighter and
that
he get captured.
Fighter get trapped.
Oh man!
For the first part of the match, I'm like, damn, we didn't even get the match started by the Ruka chick, by the spaghetti chick, noodle chick captures him, and then we get introduced to Team Masho, the ninjas, who we first get introduced by the British. He's the British ninja. We get introduced to Jin, the Windmaster.
Man, he wasn't even British. That was a really bad Irish accent. Whoever did that accent. Yeah, whoever thought that accent was good. I love it for him, for Jin, but man.
So this match was my favorite because we got to see Hyusuke and Kurama really hold down the team. Because Hyusuke and Mass Fighter got ruled out because they're trapped. Kurobara's not really ruled out, but he can't fight. So he's Hyusuke and Kurama against 5 fully healthy fighters. And I like how this match played out. This match was dope. This match was dope from beginning to end.
Oh, definitely.
So we see Kurama hold down the first 2 matches against kills Gama, who then seals his spirit energy and he can't move. And Kurama killed. That's why Kurama tactful. He fused the rose with his hair.
Man.
Bruh. And then kills Gama. But then he has to go to the next match because he's still ruled in because the rulings, they They wanted him dead. He can't move, so he's ruled fit to fight and stays in and has to fight Toya, the Ice Master, who I like too. Toya was dope. I love Toya. And Daner gets killed. I like Kurama's resolve for this fight.
Oh, dude. And what a brilliant idea of using the death plant to give him a weapon. Such a good idea.
Oh, definitely. Big facts. Like
then
that match,
you got then not even just that. Then the next dude shows up while Kurama was unconscious.
The whole fight.
That whole third fight. And eventually he finally throws him off stage. And then Hiei comes in. Or not Hiei, Yusuke goes in and he whoops the ever living shit out of Bakken.
Oh yeah, he smacked back. Like he was the trashiest member of the group because he really the sweat thing and he kept popping Yusuke and Yusuke just kept laughing like, yo, bro, your punches are soft. I don't feel nothing really. Like these punches is trash. You're garbage. And smacks back. Breaks all the bones. And then he resorts to throwing a rock on Bakken's head.
Yep.
So we get to the next fight. We get to see Jin.
The best fight of this whole thing. Of this whole section of fights.
Oh yeah, because after the exchanges of tornado fists, Yusuke blocking the tornado fist with the spirit gun, trying to kill them both. I
love his thought process of when he uses when he gets the two tornado fists, and he goes, "Well, shit, I can't get rid of this with spirit gun, spirit grenade launcher maybe, but not spirit gun."
When he took the spirit wave stance, I said, "Oh!" And then when he told Koema that he didn't learn it, that he never got to learning it.
Yep.
But when it came to the next episode, and when he finally used it, he blocks the one, and then disengages the other one, and then the decisive blow, bruh. That was cold as shit.
Oh yeah. Then the best moment after that, they try to rip him off again, and they say that he was DQ'd because of a slow count.
Yeah, that was mad trash. Then we get
my favorite moment. This was probably one of my favorite moments in this whole moment. When Hiei is like, you know what? Fuck all these people. He starts powering up, and the one chick's like, oh, he's too healed now. I can't hold him back anymore. And then he's egging Yusuke on. He's like, let's kill everybody. None of these people deserve this. And Yusuke's like, you know what? You're right. Let's do it. Then the true MVP of this entire arc.
Got one more fire in our team. What are you talking about?
And then, like, he gets his ass whooped for a bit.
Kurabara
gets the Hail Mary, and then he turns into a simp again for the win.
Yo, when he said, yo, the nurse lady didn't rule me out because he said I was okay. That's because she wasn't a real nurse, stupid. Yo, MVP. One of his matches, the MVP. Definitely the MVP. Because they was out.
Yep, but this was also his first win. Because he won this fight technically. Yeah. Because after Yukina shows up and he gets this miracle wave of energy.
The simp energy. He got the
simp energy, dude. Real simp energy right there. This is Kuwabara was the only time that being a simp ever was actually a good thing.
Bruh, came in mad. Like he was all beaten up, took a meteor to the face, got knocked out.
A couple of them.
And had all the strength. That's what Yusuke was like. I said, I don't get that guy. Yo, Risho with full power because he lost his spirit sword and got spirit energy back in full.
Yep.
Best moment.
Especially because I also love the fact in that when he was trying to form the spirit sword and couldn't, and then Risho has to be like, "You're stupid. You're using all your energy to stand. You'll never be able to create that spirit sword." I mean, he does, but just that moment was just so good.
Oh yeah, big facts. That was definitely a good moment. So Team Urameshi pulled another win out pulled out another win. The demon lord, because you notice the demon lord Togoro's killing all the human crime lords for the bigger.
Yeah, because he kills that dude.
With the
he kills the guy.
Dude, the flick to the head, and his head explodes. I'm like, damn, bruh. So we finally get to the masked fighter. We finally get the reveal because we're getting close to the end of the Dark Tournament. They make it. Team Urameshi makes it to the semifinals and then we get introduced to the Spirit Egg. We get introduced to little old Pooh.
Oh man, that was hilarious. But actually, what's funny is I watched a YouTube video. Hold up, this guy's gonna get a free shout out, I guess. But it brought up a really good point, and it had a really funny line in the video, which I'm gonna definitely quote it here once I actually find it.
Go ahead.
But basically, it was talking about just the reason why Yusuke is so good as a character is because like he is like this actual good person. Like, sure, he's done bad things, but he is a good person. I can't find it right now.
Hold
but
on,
can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, it's going out. It's going in and out for some reason. You're good. Gotcha. Yeah, you're good. I can hear you now.
All right, awesome. So the thing about it though was that just kind of showed it. That showed that he was still like this soft little person on the inside with this ridiculously rough exterior, and everyone was giving him shit for it. And it was great. It was just good, wholesome attitude. But then when the real reveal happens, and Genkai's like, "Hey, I got one more lesson for you." And then it's the actual spirit wave orb.
I think that this is the most emotional. No, line. This two emotional moments in here. We ain't got to the next one. This was definitely emotional.
They both happened
because as happened after the semifinal matchup, it happened after this. Yeah, it happened after the semifinal matchup.
Well, it wasn't after the semifinals. It was before the semifinals, and the reason I know that is because this was the one where while Yusuke was doing this, Hiei, Kurama, and Kuwabara were fighting the semifinals.
Team Uritogi, they was low-key trash. Like, they made it to the semis. They weren't no Team Masha. So we get introduced. to my boy's alter ego. So the two matches, Hiei smacks Makintaro with little or no ease. And then we get to see the Dragon of the Darkness Flame slightly again with the sword.
With the sword.
Flame. Like, he was kind of dope, but still trash. Because I like they're using items to beat. They're trying to match up everybody to beat certain fighters on the team. But then we get introduced to Kurama's true form. When Yoko Kurama first got introduced, that transformation sequence was cold. When I first saw that, God, I don't know. I was like, raw. And then we get the deep voice, and then we see a white silhouette. I'm like, he said, yo, his spirit energy's going back up. What's happening? And then it chills. And then when Kurama finally started, he was like, he says, you're Yoko Kurama. He says, I thought you were dead. Bruh, the reveal. That was dope.
So good.
The Yoko Kurama was definitely the dopest reveal. And then he uses the tree of the death plant and scares him. He says, the secrets to the item box. Oh, I can't tell you that. Bruh, I'll melt you right here. You better give me these secrets, bruh. I'm not playing no games.
Even though we're going to skip ahead a little bit.
No, you're good.
Let's see. Suzuki. This guy He has one of my favorite moments in the whole thing for only one reason, and that was when he was fighting Genkai.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can do this whole thing like Toguro as well. And Toguro, obviously, this is only ever in English, but he's just like lightweight.
Oh yeah,
that was so good. This was like, where before this arc, at the end of the Spirit Detective arc, I was talking about how plain the brothers were. This arc, you got to actually see like the real characters. You got to see when they're funny. You got to see when they're relentless. You got to see like when they're driven. This was when they became interesting. But while all that was happening, Yusuke was dealing with an issue of trying to actually finish learning this.
Man.
And he takes the orb, and it has one of my other favorite lines in the entire thing was when Genkai knew that he wasn't ready.
I already know what you're going to say.
And she tried to take it back.
Yes.
And he goes, give it back, you old bitch.
You're not a freaking mom, so you can't tell me what's good for me. And then shoves it back in his chest to restart the pain all over again. No.
And that's the thing. He restarts, which, by the way, I am going to mention one more thing about this at the end of this whole arc. Because, again, most people don't they didn't catch this. I didn't even catch it until, like, the last couple times I watched it. But then Pooh's feeling like crap because it's what Yusuke's feeling. Because Yusuke's going through all of that. And then, finally again, Yusuke never doing shit for himself, but doing it for something else.
Yep.
He powers up and gets the shit back, and he's like, all right, saves Pooh and gets himself out of there as well as Pooh, and then falls asleep again because he deserves it this time.
Yo, the sleep was mad real. The sleep was definitely real for that arc, for that moment. Pooh comes in, saves him, but then we finally get. So we see a little bit of interaction with Toguro and Genkai.
Yes.
Because we see her finish off Shishiwakamaru. And she gets the young form, but then we get to see how they're connected. Because we get to see why she was invited to the tournament and how the connection to Genkai and Toguro got finally revealed. That moment, oh man.
It was so crazy because this was the clash of ideals. You know, they even show the conversation of Toguro not wanting to grow older as a human, wanting to stay strong, and how she was saying how it's not bad if you do it with the person that you care about. And
I felt bad.
Then, even before when they actually interact, when he is explaining to, I think it was the team leader or the team owner. I forget exactly who it was to, but that was that moment when he goes, this is why technique doesn't work against her, because she's too smart. She knows how to use that. She's a master at it. He goes, it's brute force.
Yep. He told Karasu.
That's right. It was Karasu. He's like, that's why she's dangerous, but this is the only way you beat that. Then they run in and they have that fight.
The whole backstory. We get to see why she got invited, because after they won the tournament years ago, but then Toguro's wish was like, I don't want to grow old. Give me a body that has absolute strength. Genkai didn't want that. She wanted to live her life in peace. I'm done. And then she pretty much knew because I forgot, we get to a little bit more backstory with that later, that after the next tournament, she knew he changed. And that's why she couldn't deal with him no more. And after he told him, leave me alone, I'm not fighting in these tournaments no more, when she heard Yusuke was going to enter, that's why she entered. She didn't have to come, but she chose to finish up old business with the girl.
Yep.
I don't know how many times I see this. I know what's going to happen, but it still saddens me when I saw Genkai get killed.
Yep.
It saddens me even though she's coming back. It's still, that was the saddest moment.
You that was when her coming back was the only time in anime I was ever okay with it. I know we're talking about Yu Yu Hakusho, but it brings up the whenever I think about this moment, it brings up the Majin Vegeta versus Majin Buu.
Yeah.
Right? Where he sacrifices himself, try to kill Buu, just to come back later.
Yep.
And the thing is, I hated that one. But I was okay with Genkai. Because even when Genkai came back, Genkai is still weaker. She doesn't have the spirit wave orb anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was still passed on. Like, the effect that Genkai had was to help Yusuke become stronger. And that still mattered. When Buu survived and then Vegeta came back, like, it didn't matter anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, Boo's in the fourth form, killed blows everything up on Earth. It really didn't matter. He didn't get stronger. He just, this is my last ditch effort. Genkai, he had power. Genkai didn't. She gave everything. I like that. Like, I gave everything. Like before they fought, and he told the girl, I gave everything you want, everything that you know, or your power that you know that I had is with Yusuke now.
Not even that, but I also remember when she shows up to the semifinal match, and Hiei's like, "You're not the masked fighter.
Oh yeah,
the masked fighter's strong. Where, like, who the hell are you?" And and she's like, "Oh yeah, Yusuke has it now."
And yeah, he couldn't believe it. And like, what? But she still smacks you. That's the funny.
Yep.
She still can fight. She just can't fight like you used to.
But she was smart. That's the thing. She was smart.
Mad smart, but it's still like that moment when he punched her and Yusuke runs up to see her finally die. Yeah. Like, that still hurt. Like, I don't care. Every time she's coming back, but it's the fact that Yusuke's reaction.
It's crazy.
And then all his emotion. And then before the finals, he's in the cave and thinks he's coming back, and Koenma's, yo, he's like, you're a stupid apprentice. And he gets mad. I'm like, damn. This shit was mad real.
But that's another reason why Yusuke is like the best shonen protagonist all the way up till like recent anime. Like, he is the best shonen protagonist all the way up until you get to My Hero, Demon Slayer, and so on. Because the emotion is real. The struggle is real. It's a teenage dude who doesn't know how to deal with his emotions, going through the loss of the only person who really believed and gave a shit about him.
Yeah.
It's too good. Oh, yeah. But also was the mentor. It was sensei. Like, mom didn't teach him nothing. You never learned about dad.
Mom didn't teach you nothing.
Nope. But then this happened. Boy, I'm teary. I'm glad my camera's not on right now because I am teary-eyed right now. Oh, man. But yeah, this is the person who really, like, gave enough to mentor this dude and pull him up out of every single dark hole he was in. And then she's gone. Again, she comes back, but then she's gone. Killed in front of him. And he still couldn't do shit about it. He
couldn't do nothing. Oh, yeah. And so as they get ready, everybody's preparing, and everybody's when Hiei saw the damage that Toguro do, he already knew, oh no. So before we get to we forgot one semi matchup, and it didn't even matter because we already knew who was gonna win. When we got to see full team Toguro and they squared up with Team Urameshi, like we knew who everybody's gonna fight. When boy, it's Karasu, and so we got to see their powers. Karasu can blow niggas up through his spirit energy. Boy, is just strong. Like, he wrecks the dude with the axe with one swing, and then El Toguro, that nigga just nasty.
I mean, yeah, dude.
But he's strong. So
basically, it's like the kid with the yo-yos, but his limbs.
That's nasty. Like, I was like, bruh.
What happens to him in Chapter Black is the reason Chapter Black is my favorite. But
the character who does it to him made it even better because he's my favorite character.
yes, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So the crazy part about this fight was that both people were down members, technically.
Yep.
Right? Like, in the end, in reality, they were both down a member because obviously Genkai died, and Team Toguro never had 5 members. You only ever saw the Toguro brothers, Karasu, and Bui, but then, Sakio was the 5th member. So then alongside Sakio being the 5th member of that team, the 5th member of Team Urameshi was Koenma.
That was funny as hell.
It was, but it also showed the thing that I like about this, and then again, I feel like the one thing I love about Yu Yu Hakusho is the ends of the arcs always show what those characters mean in the beginning or sometime during the next arcs. True. And this is prime example because in the end, Koenma is also a comic relief character. At no point in time is he ever doing things like that puts himself on the line until now. Now, if they would have tied, Koenma would have had to fight. And sure, it would have been against Sakio, but no one knows what Sakio can do. We think he's a rich dude, but you don't ever know. Of course, it ended up just being like, it doesn't matter. It ever came to it. But Koenma still put himself on the line for that. So that's crazy to me.
And these fights were intense.
What was the first fight? Was the first fight Hiei?
No, the first fight was Kurama versus Karasu.
That's right. So that Kurama versus Karasu. First off, they got the items from the clown.
From Suzuka. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Kurama tested the item to see what it would do. And sure enough, turns back to Yoko and then Karasu. You finally get to see what Karasu can really, what his power really is. Because at first, everyone is under the assumption that it's when he touches you, you blow up. But come to find out, they're everywhere.
And he can make items, little bombs and shit out of nothing. That was dope. Like the whole team was busted. Like we already know Toguro and Elder Toguro. The whole team. And then to see Kurama almost die, but he still kills Karasu, but he loses the match because the technicality.
Because he was outside of the ring.
No.
That's the reason why.
No, the 10 count. He went outside the ring.
Oh, that's right.
He didn't get up in time.
Yep.
And he fell back.
If he would have. And if he would have, he would have been good.
True.
But the crazy thing about that was like, that was that moment. That was one of the cool moments because Dragon Ball does them, but they're terrible. In the moments of like the fusions where there's a time limit on something, and then like halfway through the fight it goes away.
Yeah,
Dragon Ball does it bad, but this is they did it good because during that time Yoko could see everything. True. Yoko saw all the bombs. Yoko was more than strong enough, but then he wasn't Yoko anymore. And then Kurama's like, "Hey, screw this. I can't see it. I'm not going to be afraid of it." And still almost gets peace, but the damn death plant always coming clutch.
The death plant definitely coming clutch for this matchup. So next match, now I already knew Hiei was going. I knew Hiei was going to win when we get to see Bui and him square up. I like how he said Hiei was like, "I want a thug for my glasses for myself, but this thug will do just as fine." Walks up on Bui. When they start the fight and Bui when he's throwing the pillars, and then when he threw the axe at Hiei and he incinerates it, and then when finally it was like when Kurama finally was like, did he master the dragon? When he threw out the completed Dragon of the Darkness Flame, bruh.
And then Bui deflected it.
Then Hiei catches it. And then it thinks it incinerates him, but then Hiei comes back and everybody's looking like, what the hell just happened?
Yep. That dude spirit bomb keyed him, man. All of it went to Hiei and Hiei fucked him up.
He was like,
Killed
"Is this
him.
the best you got?" He absorbs the dragon
Yep.
and Rex Bowie. I already knew Hiei wasn't going to lose his match. Like,
Of course.
it's Hiei. Hiei
But
never.
it's also a shonen anime, so you know that the win or lose was gonna be Yusuke versus younger Toguro. But then win number 2 for Kuwabara. Him versus Elder Toguro. First off, I did not think this was the match that should have happened. But then again, who is Kuwabara gonna fight?
He wasn't fighting. We already knew he wasn't fighting Younger. He wouldn't. They had a match. They matched everybody up perfectly. Him fighting Carl Seal? Hell no.
Nope.
Him fighting Bowie? Double hell no.
This is also like Elder Toguro is also the second most dangerous person on that team.
Yeah. No.
So it's like, wow, that's crazy. But then the ending of that fight was the best because he fly swatted him.
Oh yeah. And then we got the reveal that he didn't find out Genkai was dead.
Yeah,
that was messed up too. Everybody found out through the spirit energy, her spirit energy fading, and we already know Yusuke was there, but he didn't find out. He knew somebody died, but he didn't know where, and nobody didn't tell him. That's what pissed him off, make him really win. Like like everybody thought he was a joke, and then we got to see the more serious side of Kuwabara because he's usually the comic relief.
Yep.
And we got to see the serious side of Kuwabara.
And boy, was it serious. And it was a tough fight.
No,
but man, when he got that, when he realized, like, haha, my organs move everywhere, he goes, okay, well, I got an idea. And he uses the item to make a spirit fly swatter.
Yes.
And smacks the shit out of him.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, shit. Especially because he talked shit about Genkai. If I remember right, Elder Toguro talked shit about Genkai.
Yeah, he was up there telling about how their relationship was, and he was running his mouth, and Elder Toguro was getting shitty. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep. And boy, Kuwabara definitely got that payback. Oh, man. But then, we're going to get to the point that I brought up earlier of what makes the Spirit Wave Orb even more impressive. So Yusuke shows up, and it's Yusuke versus younger Toguro. Are you good? Can you hear me?
The all stakes match.
Yes.
Yeah. Matter of fact, hold up 1 second, y'all. Hold up. Hold up 1 second. Hold up 1 second. I'll be right back. Hold up. Oh crap. Oh crap. Hey, Esteban, after this one, we have to end this one. As bad as I want to finish, I really didn't think we was going to make it. I really thought we was going to make it, but we'll have to finish this one and finish Chapter Black.
We can do that next Thursday. If you're free next Thursday, I'm down.
Cool.
All right. So we'll go ahead and wrap this up. But,
okay.
You good?
Yeah, you good. Go ahead.
Okay. But what I was bringing up before was, first off, you see Toguro and you see Yusuke go at it, and they're going back and forth here and there. And then this is cocky Yusuke. First off, not fake cocky Yusuke. Real cocky Yusuke. Like, he's actually chill. He is relaxed. He's angry, but he's ready to just go in and kill this dude. But remember, he took off the spirit cuffs?
When he took off, because it was just them playing around. Like younger Toguro powered up. It was back and forth. Everybody was like, Yusuke's improved like a lot through this tournament. But when he took the cuffs off and went in, and
by the way, here's the crazy part. During the Spirit Wave Orb test, he had the spirit cuffs on.
So that made him even stronger when he took them off.
Not just stronger, but that made the test even harder. Because he got the spirit cuffs on before he stopped training with Genkai at the beginning of the Dark Tournament.
True.
So the entire tournament, every single thing he went through all that pain he went through and like everything all was made harder by those spirit cups. And Yusuke knew the word. He could have let them go then. And he was like, no, I'm going to wait for that moment when I need to do it. And he did it. He waited to that fight.
The Phoenix energy came out. When they said, when we got to see Chu, Toya, Jin, and Rinku come to the fight, and everybody was like, this is about to be the fight of all fights. When the energy came out and it looked like a phoenix and it went to Yusuke, because remember, when he finally blasted Toguro and everybody's like, yeah, that's it. That spirit gun was strong. When he releases that, when the tactics they used in this match was dope. Because Yusuke was mad tactful not to waste bullets.
Yep.
Until he got a decisive hit. When he got the decisive hit and blasted him out the arena, and everybody's like, yeah, he should be gone. He should be in that. Kuwabara's like, he should be an ashtray. And he was like, I don't like this. Something ain't right. And Toguro came back with his shades off, and then he said, you did everything that I've asked, Yusuke. And finally, after when we first got introduced to the Toguro Bros, we get to see 100% younger Toguro.
By the way, I pulled up the scene for that bird, for the phoenix. It's actually not a phoenix. We'll talk about it next time because you actually see it. Actually, I'll bring it up now. The bird that comes out is what Pooh turns into during Chapter Black.
So that was basically Pooh.
Yeah, that's why it was that bird.
I didn't even think. I would never thought. Oh wow!
I didn't even think about it till just now. I literally did not notice it at all until now. But that's what that was.
Damn. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That would never had dawned on me. Yeah, definitely was Pooh. Huh?
But yeah. But well, it wasn't Pooh himself, but that was the energy made the bird, and that's Yusuke's inner self. So that was kind of like, okay, this is when you get to see what he'll eventually become. This is the true Yusuke.
Yep.
Then after that, Kuwabara, being the MVP again, sacrifices quotes himself. Then Yusuke gets pissed, thinking Kuwabara's dead. And beats him. Beats Toguro finally.
This was like
Togoro's at 100%.
This is like a Cell Gohan moment.
Yes.
This is like a Cell, because pretty much Toguro was wrecking Yusuke.
Yep.
All throughout the fight. This is like Cell trying to get Gohan pissed just to fight him at his strongest. This was pretty much that same scenario, except for 16 didn't come back. He didn't fake no death. That was real. That was the only difference.
But then after he beats him, Kuwabara shows back up. He's like, yeah, I wasn't dead. And then you realize that Toguro was truly the real teacher in the end. Because even Toguro, while he was as twisted as he was, did not want Yusuke to go down the path that he did.
I felt bad. And then we find out that
he stays in purgatory.
Yeah, and then they meet up with, and then another thing, we get to see Genkai come back. After we see the tournament blow up, they won, but Yusuke at the end was like, we don't get our wish, but what we wanted, and then Botan was like, what we wanted to wish for was, and then they see a picture of Genkai and it was sliding through, and I was like, damn.
Yep.
And then Toguro already knew. That was dope that he already planned ahead, that he already knew what Yusuke would wish for if he won. And I felt bad for Toguro because he said pretty much, I got the fight that I wanted. I got to fight at my full strength. Yeah. That's all I got beat.
And he got beat. Yeah. It wasn't just him having to fight full strength. He got beat. But I will definitely give this rating. My rating for this is also 8 out of 10. The biggest thing about it was that it does drag. It drags a little more than the first arc.
Oh,
because that's the nature of tournaments.
Yep.
Usually the last fight's the one that matters.
And that definitely mattered.
And it did. But the one nice thing I like about it is while I give this an 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10 is still a very good score.
No, it was definitely
good. It ended the arc perfectly. It was the perfect ending for this arc. What about you, man? What would be your favorite part of the entire arc?
The favorite part of the entire arc, Yoko Karama. Like
Man.
seeing Yoko transform, like that was just we get to see Karama's. We got a little history of he was a thief, a spirit thief. He got the spirit world came after him, hides in his human body, regenerates his power, and then we get to see him come out in full.
Yep.
But probably the whole thing, probably everything about the Dark Tournament, like from the fights, the development of your team Urameshi, the introduction, and then we got the rest of the history for Toguro. I felt bad, and then when Sakio really dies, Shizuru, Kuwabara's sister, had a thing for him.
Yep. That seed was going through the whole thing.
Like
and
that
then, oh man, it was so good.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. Dark Tournament.
I respect that. You know what? I actually definitely going to revise my scores only because the more I think about it, once we get to Chapter Black and the Three Kings, I will actually rescore these 9 out of 10s, both of them.
Ooh,
because I feel that both of these are equally good at what they do. My favorite again is Chapter Black. That's my 10 out of 10. And then I have my Three Kings one, which we'll get to if you're good next week. But yeah, man, thanks for having me on for sure. I'm glad we actually got to talk about it. Oh, my favorite moment was definitely when Yusuke saw Genkai die and him explode. That was those moments, like that, like every piece of that, all the way until he shoots that spirit gun that everybody sees on the island.
Oh yeah, at the end before the finals, and he told her
that this is chunk. Yes, that chunk was just so good.
The feels.
And that was probably my favorite part of the entire arc.
The feels. That was definitely the feels right there. And then we finally get to see her come back, and then everybody flipped. So
and Toguro and Genkai got their final goodbyes.
And she told him he was stupid.
Yep.
She called him dumb for and she said, "You taught Yusuke in a way too." And he said, "Don't lead." And then she said, "Raise and make sure he doesn't go down the path that I went down." I felt Toguro was a villain, but he wasn't a villain. It was Sakio.
He was truly the anti-hero.
And definitely was, because we got to see, before we close out, we got to see the true plan of Sakio. He wanted to open a portal to the demon world, to the human world.
Yep. And he was the real. Him and Elder Toguro were definitely the real villains.
Yes.
But they were powerless to the anti-hero they had on the side.
Oh, definitely. I felt bad. Like I felt bad for Sakio, but I definitely felt bad for Toguro because he did what he did, but he couldn't be with Genkai, and he was like, "I'm just gonna suffer." Because Koema gave him an out, but he didn't want to take it.
Yep. But he also knew he messed up. He knew what he did wrong, and he owned up to his wrongdoings. I wouldn't say mistakes because he knew damn well what he was doing.
True.
But sure enough, like his wrongdoings, he knew that's what he deserved. That was the punishment he needed to get.
True. This is very true. Definitely 10 out of 10. Hey, my brother.
It's a 9 out of 10 for me, but only because to me, Chapter Black is just that much better. But we'll get to that next time.
No, Chapter Black was dope. Matter of fact, we might record it sooner because I actually doing another episode. Like I'm gonna do dope anime fights for next Thursday. But we might be able to do it sooner because I record Sunday for the King and Ashura with my buddy Tim, and then we could between.
Just so you know, for my schedule, Monday I'm free and Wednesday I'm free. Tuesday I'm not, but those other 2 days I am.
Okay, we might be able to do Wednesday then because I'll have to record Wednesday and Thursday then. We might be able to do Wednesday in. Hey,
Sounds good.
Thank you.
If anything changes, we can always do it later.
Oh, we definitely can. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you coming on.
Man.
Oh, no problem, man. Like I said, I'm glad to have you on. And tune in next time, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe, comment on the page. Check out my Twitch. Like I said, I'm recording on live for Twitch and on YouTube and on Facebook. Check out the Just in the Anime page and the YouTube channel. Like I said, I'll be recording again next Thursday, and then I'll be finishing. We'll be finishing this off with Chapter Black and Three Kings Wednesday, and then of course you'll tune in on Sunday for the Kang and Asha review with Tim Berry. Probably Everett will be back again. But yeah, man, like I said, I'm glad. I hope y'all enjoyed. Like, share, subscribe to the page, and I'm gonna catch y'all later. Esteban, my brother, have a good one, my guy, and peace.